Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Women have two sides to their nature. And this is something I've approached before, but this is actually the basis of my book, Nice Guys and Players. Becoming that man who can meet both of her needs. Now, let's be clear on something. All human beings have two sides to their nature, particularly their sexual nature. All human beings. The only difference is men tend to blend theirs better, in general, better. Men tend to but not blend theirs better, but not so much women. Now, what are the two needs? There is a social need that women have. And then there is a sexual need, a more carnal need. And the social thing is more emotional anyway. All right. So when women are interacting with a man, they're going to look for two things. They're going to look at, well, the first thing is, do they find him sexually compatible? Will he meet their sexual needs, whatever their physical type is in a man? They're gonna look at the whole body. I know a lot of guys focus on just the face, but no, their face don't go in between those legs. Yeah, maybe they eat that poo, but they want to know that man who can physically pick them up. They want to know that man. They want to see if that man can physically dominate. And seriously, women will feel a certain way when they see certain body types that communicate something to them. He might be a big stocky dude, but it communicates to her that he can protect her. Or he might be a dude that he might have a little bit of weight on him, but give kind of like a paternal energy that communicates to her that she have a baby with him. He'll take care of the baby. But all of that is sexual. See, the body communicates. One of the reasons I promote the body game, because your body actually communicates to women something on a sexual level. And, people talk about the face, but believe it or not, the face is more social. Because the social thing, the face communicates more to the woman, more your personality, more how you interact in the world, your social thing, all right? So let me get into that. I explained the sexual thing. The social thing is more, and that brings in more. Like, okay, we talked about the face. They looking at it and try to get a read off of, okay, does he look like he does things on a social basis? It's not necessarily sexual. And a lot of guys get that confused. They looking at the whole social aspect of it. And then the social aspect includes, that's when money might come into it. Notice I say it might. But the social thing is more like, okay, who can she go outside with? This is outside the bedroom, and that's going to also include what the value system is. What's your religion? They want to be with somebody they can relate to religiously. The social class, the economic class, her subculture, maybe, even the racial thing. The racial thing is more about the social aspect of relating. Now, here's where the problem is. A lot of times women don't express both sides equally. Most of the time, very few women will express just their sexual side publicly, what they really want sexually. A lot of times, the focus is on the social aspect. And let's be real. I'm gonna be real. A lot of times, when you hear men, especially in this space, they even complaining about women or telling you how to get them, they talking about the social aspect. It's like, oh yeah, well, you're high value if you got money. Yeah, well, socially maybe. Or you in a certain class or something, or even how you wear your clothing. A lot of that is social because clothing is a uniform. If you wearing it like you in the streets or something, they see that socially. That says, oh, okay. If they street too, like on that ratchet thing or poor thing, it's like, oh, okay, he look like he belong in this environment. Or if he's wearing like a nice suit, a fitted suit, a tailored suit, he look like socially he belongs in there, right? But The real issue, and this is something that I use nice guys and players to talk about. See, I called it nice guys and players. That's what I talked about in my book. Becoming that man who can satisfy that woman sexually and socially. Because that's the major problem. That is the major problem. You know, a woman might meet somebody on a social basis. You go to the same church. You go to the same church. He got a good job. Okay, he got same social class. She can take him home. She can take him home to the family cookout, and her Uncle Junior won't clown him too much, right? Okay, that's social. But see, the thing is, that sexual side is still there. She might not be sexually attracted to him on a strong level. And a lot of times, because there's such an emphasis on social, a lot of women will suppress that sexual side to try to deal with a certain type of guy. They will try to suppress that. Notice I say try. You can't, because our very being was created through an act of sex. So that's the underlying thing. So when women meet that certain type of man who turns her on sexually, who has that body build that turns her on sexually, that communicates something to her on a sexual plane, oh, she lose her mind. Hence, you have that whole dual thing, that dual mating strategy where you get a lot of women. This is a big problem. And I've seen this, and I know a lot of dudes will try to focus on just the black women having, being single mothers, but it's incredibly increasing in other communities. It might be worse, really, than the official statistics say. Because I'm familiar with quite a few younger white girls who've had babies out of wedlock. And they'll have it with one guy who probably satisfied them sexually, but then they'll get with another guy who can do it socially. Because unfortunately, just how everything is set up, a lot of guys who might satisfy them sexually might not be the one they want to deal with socially. Like one mentor I had in this whole relationship thing, he said, shoot, all women got a man. It's just that they might have a man they can't take out in public with them. So, and see, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. These women have that thing. Now, I remember I said women like sex more than we give them credit for. Even in the state of repression, they still want it just as bad. Even repress, it's just deeper down. And, a lot of guys didn't get it, but they were looking at it from a social perspective. Now, the sexual thing is so strong, that's the creation of the sexual shadow world, where they will find a way. That's why women will make a male exotic dancer rich. That's why a lot of women are on, will pay some muscular dude for sex. That's why you got a lot of older women who will sponsor a boy toy. There's a lot of cougars. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. A lot of older women paying for some younger guy, and it's just for the sex. Boy toy. I mean, that was a problem in the recent thing with Jerry Falwell. That young man was a boy toy who was doing his wife, who was doing Jerry Falwell's wife, Jerry Falwell Jr.'s wife. But that's the whole thing. That's why you got a lot of there's a lot of talk about men cheating, but women cheating like crazy. You can see it. You can see it on some forums. Women get with one guy, but that's on a social thing. But then they're having sex with another guy. That's a sexual thing. So you got to understand that. So a man, and that's the thing I promote in my book, Nice Guys and Players. You want to get to the point you can meet that woman's sexual needs and her social needs. Now, understand when I say meet those needs, that puts you in a position of power. Because then, if you able to turn on a woman sexually, but then you got the social thing in, oh, she's turned on. She wants you. You can deal with her on your terms. Let me get that clear. When you got something that somebody wants, something that somebody will even pay for, shoot, you can set the price. I want you to think about that. Peep that game. So anyway, that's all I have for today, y'all. Now, really think on what I'm saying, because everything come down to those two sides of a woman's nature, everything. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.